But as we look at this, what emerging technologies can we talk about as game changers in the near future? We've talked about AI, and we'll have a couple of more minutes on that. But other than that, what else do you see from the perspective of people, process, and technology?
And one of the people aspects, job insecurity of the people that are controlling a lot of the data, that often stifles automation in a lot of applications. I can't tell you, talking to customers, how many times I walked into somebody who's got a 20-tab spreadsheet that they build from data they pull every week or every month. And they've got 20 or 30 different pivot tables, and basically it's all siloed into one person. I was talking to one gentleman that was managing some rail cars that are being deployed, and he's like, well, I'm the only one that really uses this data, but he's got all the data there that's identifying, what are the trends for items failing, how often are they failing, and it's not being fully captured and used in the EIM system, so it's just sitting on his desk, and you just sit and look at it and say, come on, if I could get that into something that's in the cloud, it's usable, build the tools so that you could extend it to the people that could actually use the data in the field. You could sit there and start building a tool of, I've got a system that won't go. What are the top 10 reasons that vehicle won't move? Well, it's a door sensor that's wrong, or it's, some little $5 part. But, unless you've got tons of experience that exactly which spot to tap on to get it to move, you're waiting for somebody to help you diagnose the problem. So I think if we could stifle some of the people part of that, or not stifle, but unstifle, and get people to say, what, let's pull that into something that make it more usable, make it more available to staff out there. The other thing, you look at the automated vehicle space, and there's lots of pilots out there, but not a lot of production going. And a lot of that we've got, we need to codify what the limits of liability and indemnification with those technologies. I mean, those are the sexiest AI technologies that are out there today. But, with the safety impact to them as well, until we get through those hurdles, I don't think we're going to see, huge deployments, moving very fast.
Johnny, your thoughts?
Sure. I mean, the key, I guess, is going to be AI used in unique ways. But I think to me, from a technology standpoint, it's decision-making tools that help us, whether it's an AI tool or whether it's a software, like, that they can help me identify risk in my organization, right? Because it's from a standpoint of transportation, risk is, we try to mitigate as much risk as possible, right? And whether it's safety risk, environmental risk, reliability, whatever that risk is. And so and I see it every day. Like, for example, I'm working on a solution right now where, people have to do certain inspections, whether it's inspect a bus or whether it's inspect a track, and how do we know that those inspections are being done and we're compliant and we're not going to go back and have, some type of violation? So to me, there's technologies now, we're using these kind of beacons where it knows when I entered the track, and then when I, and when I exited the track, and it says, okay, I'm in compliance, right? Again, it goes back to my change aspect, but that person doesn't have to do anything, right? But I'm also using that technology to do other things, like knowing that, hey, we're there, capture my time. Maybe, these sensors also have some vibration sensors. They can sense vibration, all kinds. So ITOT, right, is going to get much better. It's getting cheaper, right? And so we can get more of it out there. Having, the AI and then having the mobility, right? And the mobility is the key, right? To just being able to capture that information in the field, so I don't have to go back and do it, and it's done right then and there. And, I think you look at like capital projects, right? There's, we work on this thing called connected worker. We've talked about this, Satish, where what I'm doing, when I'm doing my capital, everybody thinks of maintenance and reliability. Nobody thinks about, hey, when I'm building when we're using when we're building a building, the hours we're putting, the materials we're using, all that, capture in real time. That's another trend that I see that's going to be big, that connected project worker.
So interestingly, right, I mean, it all still goes back to of people, process, and technology. I guess there's a reason that people is right on top, right? Adoption, it goes back to that. One of kind of the downstream effects we're seeing of this, it's an unexpected benefit, so to speak, especially in industries like the utility industry, where literally these are life and death decisions they make when they're handling high voltage equipment, for example, right? And if they're not familiar with it, for the newer employees, as long as that information is made available to them right there on the field, they don't have to hesitate about asking a more experienced colleague or a supervisor, saying, hey, I don't know how this works. And they should ask that. But this helps at least in overcoming this. If you can provide in-context guides and videos, and in fact, if you can get your master technician to record those videos and say, hey, when you see this, don't touch this, call me. That's fine. But at least, there's no shame in saying that I don't know and I'm following the instructions. I'm calling somebody to fix this. So I think it still boils down to the people. And I agree. I think it needs to be easy to consume, which kind of leads us to the most interesting. And, Johnny, you've talked a couple of times about AI being the game changer. Any kind of, as we sort of move towards the end, any concluding thoughts on this, on the AI aspect of what we're dealing with?
On AI, I think the back office is going to be a real game changer over the next few years. I mean, it's not the sexiest deployments of technology, but the impact there, whether you're like you said, helping the average Joe be an expert, helping you be more effective, but also helping you just standardize the way you do business so that you're doing business consistently. And that not only helps you as a business, but your customer, they know what to expect. The vendors and suppliers that supply you, they know what to expect. So you're not having a fluid engagement because everybody does something a little bit different because that's the human nature and the different biases you have that are natural. So I think a lot of that's going to help us tremendously. I think also you're going to see some of the augmented reality applications, whether it's training tools that are helping you visualize what you're supposed to be doing and how you're going to do that, whatever you're maintaining or doing. Or like I think I mentioned, on the wayfinding tools so that you can hold your phone up and the phone saying, oh, you're looking at Joe's Diner and what you're looking for is just down the street from that,
Yep.
So I think there a lot of those tools are going to have some awesome impact in helping not only us in general as suppliers and consultants develop tools for our clients, but just society in general.
That makes sense. Johnny, your thoughts?
Sure. To me, what's next, and you have cloud, AI, mobile, all this technology, it's the framework. You have to have a framework set correctly, because the reason you're using you're doing this is to automate and make better decisions or faster decision making, right? Whether it's from I need to type up a quick email and send a memo, or whether it's I'm predicting some maintenance failure, or I'm looking at risk, right? If you bring it all together, right, but you divine it, because at the end of the day, AI is not going to solve all the world's problems. It just gets us to a decision, and we still got, like you said earlier, you still got to act on it, right?
Yep.
And you still got to make a human judgment that, okay, is this the right thing or not? Because it's not going to be perfect, but if I could get me there faster, like if I can just type a couple things and or say something and it completes the whole thought process for me and gets it out fast. Those are the types of things that I think is next. We're going to see, and it's not. A lot of it is driven by our constraints, like the transportation industry's labor. It's constrained with its labor force, and you have to do, more with less. And this is what's next, pretty much.
So the one thing I do want to add our own perspective, as connects in this, right? So one of the key components of our philosophy has to be to not jump into technology because we're fascinated by it. This is something we've resisted long and hard. We worked hard to avoid jumping too early into AI, but we did announce our own AI initiative. And the point is not about our initiative alone, but the key was, we announced after we worked with our customers to develop use cases that actually made sense to their end users, to their business. And we found some early adopters, who actually signed up, who are ready to do this. To me, with all of this technology, the use cases are the hard part. The technology itself, not so much. I mean, there is enough available out there. And as I think we were talking earlier, the cost of the technology is dropping by the day. So the question is really, what are the use cases that these technologies can make the most impact on? And I think, for instance, we've talked about predictive maintenance for decades now within asset maintenance, and I think there is a real case to be made there. So as we kind of went towards, the end of this presentation, I want to kind of take a moment to summarize what we've talked about so far. I think clearly we've used the word game changer a few times. AI is one of them. And for us, at least, we truly believe the best use cases are still evolving, and we're still seeing more examples. And clearly, I think the technologies that work for the largest and the most innovative bleeding adapters are there, but they also need to work for the average organization. And when I say average, it's not a pejorative statement. I mean, these are organizations that just want to run their business efficiently. So when that jump happens from innovators to, regular organizations, I think that's when technologies are mainstream. And from that point of view, I think digitization has made the jump, and AI, I think, is helping us get there, and probably getting there faster. So any concluding thoughts from you, Dave and Johnny? And we have a few questions we can address right after.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think, going back to the beginning, is people, process, and technology. And one of the things, you look at the cybersecurity environment we're in transportation today, where not only are our clients targets, but we as vendors and consultants are also targets as well. And the technology is often the easiest part. And you said it with you guys jumping into AI. It's the business case that needs to drive it, not the technology driving it. The technology should enable it, but we've got to all get to the right business case. But coming back to people, you can't forget about people. One of my prior companies I worked with did the phishing test, and the first time we did a phishing test, 35% of the staff hit the button. And without that proper training, that proper reinforcement program, I mean, we got it down to about 2% touching the button. But it really comes down to technology is often the easiest part. It's the enabler. Then you've got process and technology. So whatever we do, AI, augmented reality, or any new technology, we've really got to remember to focus on all three of those aspects.
Right. Johnny, your thoughts?
Yeah. So, I mean, we keep talking. It's all about empowering our people, right? To use the technology to make better, smarter, faster decisions, right? It's also about the time to value. we can say, it's all about the money too, right? It's about the revenue. If we improve on-time performance, we get, we get more happier customers. We get happier customers. They keep coming and paying for the service, right? For the and it's, to me. So those, when I look at this, I think about the how do I make the people, their job easier, right? Our job is to make everyone's job, make them heroes, make them, we're the guides and the heroes. We got to give them and empower them. If I'm working on an asset, and you said earlier, and I can pull up all this information about that asset and things that have been done in the past, and what and maybe who can I ask that's worked on it before. And that's a lot. That saves a lot of time. And then I guess the final one would be sustainability. I think sustainability plays a key. Everybody talks about it when environmental safety, sustainability, safety, and governance, and all that stuff. It's key. You want to use it. It makes good sense. And I think as we progress, especially with now that we're getting more electric vehicles, electric transportation type stock, mobility and technology is going to play a big key there, and you're going to have the technology to make those things, to know how to work on them. So that's another part of sustainability, right? It's not, maybe not the mobile device, but it's the asset, and the asset has to be.
Great points there. The last sort of my parting thought on this before we move to questions is this. Almost 4 years ago, we said, hey, if your crew is out there executing work and you have a backend system that is saying that, hey, go and repair this asset, go and inspect the other asset. We truly believe we're seeing examples of that now where we are actually saying the backend system shouldn't actually tell you that your asset should call for maintenance. Your asset should basically tell you, hey, this is, my temperature is out and or my the pressure is above the tolerance level. I need you to come and take a look. Or, hey, I see that you're, less than a mile away from where I'm located. So come by and check me out because I'm due for an inspection in 3 days. And I think we're moving in that direction, pattern recognition and so on. I mean, I think there is a lot going on that front.